On this episode of Interviews from the Backseat.
Even with racism, I know the cure for it. It's not the voters box. It's the hearts of men. That we all come from one blood.
Welcome back to the Interviews from the Backseat. I'm really excited to have one of my good friends with me today, Nate Fierce. So Nate Fierce, he's an entrepreneur, a chauffeur. He is very active in the Christian community. He's part of a couple inner city church plants. He was on a Christian talk show for a while. These are just to name a few. What I like about Nate is he's always connecting people. He's been a huge inspiration to me, and just, I can't say it again, all around great guy. Just a really, really good guy. I wanted to start off with something kind of personal, because after hearing some of your story and your testimony and stuff, I was hugely inspired by it. So I want to ask you something about your past.
Feel free, brother.
You have kind of a dark past, filled with a little bit of crime.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But then you completely changed and turned your life around and went in a completely different direction. Can you tell us about that?
I grew up middle class, well-to-do. So I was selling marijuana. I was selling like 8 pounds a week. So I was doing $9,600 a week. The whole aspect of me going down a path that was never a part of my family's original DNA was just me being a prodigal son. After my brother had got converted, he started witnessing to me. I have to give all of the glory and honor to God. It was not up to me.
Yeah.
That's why it's hope. You know what I mean? Even with racism, I know the cure for it. It's not the voters box. It's the hearts of men. That just like Acts 17:26, we all come from one blood. So once we get that and fully understand, I think it's going to come down to God actually coming into the hearts of men. To me, there's hope, because my grandfather was a Klansman from Alabama.
Wow.
Lord changed him. He became one of the torch bearers for the city of Atlanta. The roughest parts of the city of Atlanta. And I'm telling you, they respected him so much because they saw consistency. They saw the Spirit of the Lord on him, and he came only giving. But his whole concept was he would bring the church to the people. Here he is, was a white dude. That's what it is about us. Like, we're accepting. Once we know you cool, oh man, we accept it. So.
Now, with that dark past, if you were to get stopped by police officers, what now goes through your head?
We live in what you call a DC-6 area. So once again, as we see how systemic racism actually impacts different areas with a different judicial standard of breaking laws, minor, major, whatever. So we live DC-6 area, meaning that if you were to walk into the local convenience store, purchase soda, chips, whatever, you walk outside, if there's any drug paraphernalia on the ground, it's instantly yours. And you go to jail. Let's say I buy some drugs in a little bag and I drop it. You walk out, you got a receipt, and you instantly go to jail. So from that perspective, our relationship with the police has always been one of tension.
So next question. You have a very unique perspective on the idea of Black Lives Matter. You have a really cool analogy. Tell me about that.
Well, for me, all lives matter. And I just try to filter my thoughts and logic and just how I perceive things through the eyes of God. So if I look at it, Acts 17:26, God created all races from one. So in and of itself, of the essence of Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, it's obvious all lives matter because God formed all us out of Acts 17:26. Then I look at it from a perspective of practicality, right? I look at a bald eagle, one of the most majestic birds I've seen in my life. Then I do love the red-tailed hawk. But when I look at which one is on the endangered species list, right? It's the bald eagle. That doesn't lessen the importance of the red-tailed hawk. But then when I look at the bald eagle, how they're being killed at an excessive rate, and they're being killed mainly for reasons that are not justifiable. I compare the African American to the bald eagle in that scenario, not to lessen the quality or the validity of the red-tailed hawk. I see the red-tailed hawk, which once again is plenteous. There's a plethora of them. They're flying around. Seem like they got the best life. And then I'm seeing this majestic bird being murdered.
So, what are you doing right now with everything going on to bring awareness to people of your perspective?
Systemic racism has affected not only who we are as African Americans, but with the demographics, with the laws. So really, we're in a state of PTSD all the time because we on edge. So what I try to do is, number one, psychologically with black people, African Americans, I say now, y'all can't tell me all white people are bad. Then they're gonna argue, about slavery. I said, listen, man, every ethnicity has a form of indentured slavery and enslavement. So that's a human thing. Going back full circle again, it's a heart thing. As human beings, we don't want God ruling over us, and we love to rule over other human beings. So I try to get them to see the full circle aspect of it. And when I look at it and try to get people to think and be more cognizant of the fact that it's a heart problem, not a color problem.
That's awesome. So, last question.
Yes, sir.
What thoughts do you have that will help us to overcome racism in our country and get us back to a point where we can experience equal value, equal respect of all demographics?
I love all food. Oh man, it's just something when I eat other food from other ethnicities.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, like, if God wanted one ethnicity, why he didn't make one? He could have. So with that being said, I think the one thing that I try to combat, the overall psychological vice, the psychological imprisonment of racism in America, we got to go back to the binding document. Going back to the analogy with the bald eagle. Going back to the analogy with dealing with the red-tailed hawk. But once they drew up the documentation that you cannot kill a bald eagle without some type of law enforcement imposing on you penalties, fines, imprisonment. Now, if you kill one, it's a greater possibility that you will have to, because of your action, there's a reaction, and you pay for it. Voting is not going to change it. You change that document. Because if you vote, just like the Lord says right there in Matthew 3:10, and you only snip or you prune the limbs, but you don't take the axe to the root, you got to take the axe to the root. Because if you cut it off and leave a stump, you and I both know in time, there would be another tree or some type of vegetation grow up out of it. But you snatch the root up, you kill the tree. We got to take that document. It needs to be reformed. If we're going to be serious, we got to change the document.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's an incredible insight. Thank you for being on Interviews From The Backseat. I really appreciate it.
I want to thank you and all the African American community. Almina is the only limousine company that I know of, I could be wrong, and I stand to be corrected, that is standing in solidarity with African Americans and people of color. And he is, once again, the forerunner in the fight for justice, righteousness, liberty amongst all races. So if you need corporate transportation, Alameda Worldwide Transportation.
Thank you. So I hope you guys got something out of this. I know I did. I'm really excited to have had this interview with Nate here. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, friend us on Facebook, connect with us on LinkedIn, follow us on Instagram, and until next time, be encouraged and make a difference.
Be safe, guys. God bless.
Thank you.